I think the recovery has actually begun, unless something absolutely drastic happens that pulls us all the way back down again. Now, don't get me wrong, it's crypto, anything can happen. And of course, things don't go up in a straight line, which means we're expecting to see probably dips here and there. But I think the big dips are over, actually. Again, I might be wrong, not financial advice, do your own research. But if you look at the charts, you can see that even the alts are trying to come back pretty strongly. Stacks hasn't made that much of a move since I bought a whole chunk the other day, but I'm expecting that to make a massive move following Bitcoin anytime soon. Not financial advice. I'm in profit with H-bar, even though I'm not at my first buy position. When it dipped, I went in pretty hard on H-bar. So my dollar cost average is actually quite low now. So I am already in profit. And if that even returns to what it was just last couple of weeks, I'll be sitting pretty. Anyway, you can also see that retail is starting to recover from the epic FUD that happened last week, the Fear Greed Index, which is meant for retail alone. As we know, this doesn't really affect establishment folk because they're the ones that create the FUD more often than not. Now, as you can see, we're now on the border between neutral and greed. People are just feeling better generally. It's all about emotions. Nothing really has changed from last week, except how people are feeling. So if the feeling gets better, the market improves, regardless of what's actually happening in the economy or in the greater world. Talking about these dips, right? Dips are effectively a time when wealth gets transferred from the poor people to the rich people. See, what happens during dips are two things. First of all, the poor people who have the dumb money sell the tokens that they bought at a higher price. So they buy high and they sell low. And who do they sell to? They sell to the rich people who have enough money to buy up at lower prices, who have no fear, who are not controlled by the Fear Greed Index. So the poor people, once they've sold all their tokens low, as the price starts to recover, they get the FOMO again. They start to feel better about themselves and then they buy again, rinse and repeat. The second thing that happens during the dip is the people who depend on their crypto to live, believe it or not, some people actually live on their crypto, so they have to sell periodically. They end up selling more crypto during the dip because it takes more crypto to pay off the same bills that they would normally pay periodically, right? So perhaps they now have to sell 2 H-bar tokens instead of just the one. So they end up selling more during the dip. And again, as usual, the rich people that don't depend on their crypto to live, they can afford to buy. Also, they don't have to sell any of the tokens during the dip, no matter how long it is. Whereas for other people, the longer the dip is, if it goes into a bear market, then they're forced to sell to pay bills and to pay taxes. Another thing that I noticed over the weekend is that we're now in the era of class action lawsuits. Now, class action lawsuits are not new in crypto. Normally, the lawsuits would be against maybe an exchange for doing something wrong. Some people have even attempted to sue the government agencies on a class action sort of basis, right? But now we're seeing class action lawsuits going after cryptocurrencies specifically and targeting exchanges that sell them. Now, while this might not be a massive thing yet, if this really catches on, what might start to happen is exchanges might start to delist some of these tokens because of the class action lawsuits. It seems like crypto hodlers are starting to do Gary Gensler's job for him. There might come a time when Gary just basically sits back and just watches the divide and conquer that they've already done take effect, right? So he spent all this government money going after these tokens. And now the hodlers themselves are so disillusioned that they might start to go after these tokens, right? And Gary Gensler just sits back and watches the action and the whole system implodes on itself. Having said that though, this is more like a culture of greed when it comes to just human beings really, rather than anything to do with actual law or anything that's happened. Most of these class action lawsuits are probably against tokens where a lot of people, the vast majority, have made a lot of profit, right? So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of people who are taking part in these class action lawsuits actually just looking for a little bit more money, and they're not actually in loss or they haven't been harmed. But, who's going to say no to a little bit of money, especially if it's presented that you, the small guy, is fighting against the big guy like Coinbase or even a big token like XRP. Well, not XRP. XRP, of course, is naturally exempt from these class action lawsuits, I think, because especially if the class action lawsuits are about the tokens being securities, maybe about something else, but about securities. Now, if George Torres had declared that XRP in and of itself isn't a security, and that the sales of XRP on exchanges, that isn't a security either, then the class action lawsuit has no leg to stand on. But not so for other tokens. In fact, XRP competitors could be in grave danger. Now, Stellar is one of them that has experienced this already, and it's only a matter of time before other tokens get a taste of this. This could be a huge bullish catalyst for XRP as a lot of people move their tokens from said potential securities to XRP. Who knows? Not financial advice though. Do your own research, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.